Hello Linux lovers, my name's Wimpy, welcome to my world. hello Yannick, it's good that everything's working. Apparently I fixed some things here I didn't fix at home with regards to Atom, so there you go. The beauty of having two setups. If you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, this was originally streamed live on twitch.tv/Wimpy's World. So if you'd like to join in these sessions interactively with everybody else, and here they come, then head over to my Twitch channel and join the fun. Right, hello everyone, good timing. Yeah, good timing indeed. Good morning Luke, morning Esme, hello Paul, hello Yannick, welcome back. So, a couple of days ago I was working through a big fat mess of Compositor bugs, and I did say I was going to stream, you know, the continuation of that. When I actually got into it, it was one of those things where it was like, oh my gosh, there's such a lot of work to get done here. This is one of these occasions where it's better just to offline, get my head down and plow through the work. But I'm just going to go through a quick review of everything that changed there because I have got everything done. It is all in Jammy, which is going to be the next release of Ubuntu and Ubuntu MATE. So I'm pretty happy with how all that's turned out, and once I've sort of gone over that, we've made some other I've made some other changes of the pre-installed software, and I just want to check that all of the packaging is all set up and in good shape, and then I'm going to move on to sending some fixes back to the Yaru project specifically for the Mate themes. That team's done a fantastic job in bringing the Mate variant theme into the main Yaru project. But in the transition from sort of my branch to it being mainlined, there's a handful of graphics that got dropped along the way and a couple of tweaks and changes that just need to be made. So I'm going to send all of that back up so that everything's in sync. But they've been doing a fab job. They've fixed a load of bugs, and I've got some updates on what I've already done with the Yaru theme there as well. So good morning. Linux Paul says, let's bring this up. So Linux Paul says they're back on GNOME now with the tail between their legs. Turns out that my Linux machine is a laptop and I've got to have touchpad gestures in my workflow. So which touchpad gestures are you referring to and what we're missing? Because you installed Ubuntu MATE, I think. So I'd be interested to know what you're missing. I can always look into that. Right then. So we are also on our road to 1,000 followers, so I wonder if we'll get any closer to that today. It remains to be seen. I do use gestures on the touchpad. I mean, it's been a while since I've used the touchpad on a regular basis because, you know, obvious reasons, not traveling, not using laptops. But I think other than some sort of three-finger swipe type gestures, which I suspect Paul may mention, I think, do I? I thought I had updated my followers goal. I think I have. It's at 975 at the moment is the objective, Yannick. I'm not being overly ambitious. I know my limits. So let's get into this. Let's head over here. So let's take a look at what's changed. Let's bring up a code editor. Yeah, let's do that. So one of the things I was working on was Mate Tweak. And that was to expose all of those compositors that PyCom offers. So if we just go over here, that work is concluded. And we can demonstrate that quite simply. So we now have these sim links to Marco wrapper for various like no compositing at all, or GLX compositing, or the X-render compositing, or the hybrid compositing. We've also got these fallbacks which is for anyone. This is a bug that I was fixing for Debian, where some people had transitioned and I hadn't left behind these stubs that they were using in their active configuration. So these are here to catch anyone that's upgrading to a newer version of MATE Tweak, but using the old style naming. So that's what they do. And what we've really done here is just a couple of little things. I've changed the shadow opacity and radius, and we'll get into why I've done that in just a moment. And I think everything else is about the same. It just has some checks and balances to make sure it does the right thing, but I don't think that changed a whole lot. But it is a multiple personality executable, which is what I started to introduce in the last stream. So that is doing its thing. One of the other things I added was in MATE Tweak here, and if I just search for xpresent, I've added this little thing here. So as we discussed when I was fixing those compositor bugs, Marco has two compositors it can use: xrender, which it's had for some considerable time, and xpresent that was added recently, and that was causing or hitting a regression in the interaction between the new NVIDIA drivers and the X server that was causing the X server to segfault. So as a temporary workaround, I've removed the xpresent support. And what we do here is we now use LDD to go and inspect the Marco binary, and we go and see if lib xpresent is in the output or not. And with this, we can now determine which renderer is enabled in Marco. So in the drop-down list presented by MATE Tweak, we can now see which of those compositors is available, which is a nice sort of visual touch. So if I go over to this VM, which I've started ahead of time so it doesn't deafen people as the startup chimes ring out. If we run, this is fully up-to-dated, so this is today's up-to-date image, which includes, so this version of MATE Tweak is uploaded and in the repositories, and we can see here we have no compositor. It knows that because xpresent is disabled, it correctly works out that the xrender extension is what's enabled here, and then it shows these three options for using PyCom. So something that I also did, if I just move back to my text editor, is I wrote a patch for the Marco window manager, and this is a very trivial patch. I say wrote, I just did some basic maths. So these are the constants effectively that define the radius and opacity of the drop shadows that Marco projects on composited windows. And I was saying in the last stream how those were a bit dark and they didn't really fit in with the way other compositors rendered things. So I have done some sums and I have come up with this. And this is a more subtle set of shadows. So if we head back to our virtual machine, these shadows are in effect here, and I'll try and, this will be almost impossible to see on stream. I have a trick up my sleeve. So what we'll do is...
Thank you for the follow, Josim.
Hey Josim, welcome to the stream. Thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate that. That's one step closer. So let's go and bring up the appearances. We're going to dazzle everyone with some light theme action. Here we go. We'll open up the desktop, which should be blank, and then what we'll do is we will bring up the File Explorer and a terminal here. Okay, so this is using Marco's compositor, and maybe you can make out there, this is what these shadows look like now. So they're much more subtle, And the reason that they look like this is so that if we bring up something that is using client-side decorations, like the scanner tool, it's not a perfect match because I don't like the overly dark CSD shadowing, but it fits in much more closely now. So it means as you open Windows, there's a bit more cohesion between the way these drop shadows work. This is a little bit of OCD on my part, but I have felt for a long while that I didn't like the shadows in Marco, and I've now finally got round to doing something about it. But then to take the OCD to new heights, if we now switch over to PyCom's renderer and we look again, what we should notice is that's the scanning tool, is that the PyCom shadows are also a very close match as well. So now it doesn't matter which of the compositors you use, the general look and feel should be about the same. So this is a detail that nobody other than the 23 of you that are watching this now will ever see or know about or appreciate. But this is one of those little things that's bothered me for a while, and I finally got round to doing something about it. So you know, I can put that, and as you can see, I'm using the new version of Tweak to switch between, you know, these different compositors, and that's working reliably as well. So that's the other thing that I was pleased about. I had to just tweak the way the process management worked a little bit based on where we left things on Monday morning. So Esme points out that I think this would trigger her OCD as well. So I saw there was a few questions. Let me just look back. Right, okay. I'm just trying to following while you're offline, and for some reason the browser was still open. Yes, so it's interesting. So Yannick makes this point that he saw someone following me while I was offline. Sometimes I leave OBS up and running after I'm finished, because I also use OBS to like make thumbnails and things when I put the archive videos up on YouTube. And you know, I go away and make myself a cup of tea, and I'll be sat down here fiddling around, an Atom's still running, and somebody follows, and all of the all the animations kick off and run. It's quite amusing. Right then, so that's a little recap on where we were with all of that stuff, you know, all of the compositor stuff, and all of that is done. So that has been uploaded to the archive as of today's daily image. All of that stuff is in place. And the other thing that's in place is all the recent tranche of bug fixes in Mate desktop itself and the Ayatana indicators. All of those are in place. And if we just move back to a dark theme, because that's the right way to do things. If we just bring up a terminal, because we're gonna get into some Yaru stuff, but if we just do an apt search for Ubuntu MATE artwork, you will see that I have already uploaded a 2204.1 artwork package, and this includes that initial synchronization of the latest Yaru MATE changes from the upstream project in the Ubuntu MATE artwork. And the other thing I did last night, if I do a snap list, is the snaps for the GTK theme and the icon theme are also updated to this current version. So right now, all of the theme updates are in place in the different ways that those themes are made available. So what I'm about to do is I found a few bits and pieces that need tweaking in Yaru to sort of bring back some tweaks that I'd previously made for Yaru MATE. So we want to get those fixes back into the main Yaru project. Yeah, Sleepy Eyes Vince says, you know, the amount of time spent on the details. It really is, because the other thing is that I've still got to send some of that stuff back to Debian as well. And it's just this sort of, you know, sort of arranging of perpetual arranging of deck chairs. And sometimes, you know, what looks like update the shadows in Marco, not least did it take me 13 goes to actually get that right. But then I've got to then actually implement those changes in the correct way and then send those updates to multiple places as well. So it can be like, it was a simple idea, but you end up spending hours working on it. So that's what we have here. And then the other change I made yesterday is, this is based on feedback from my family. Oh goodness, come on, let's click on the right virtual screen. So I have also added to the default install of Ubuntu MATE 3 applications, and those are clocks and maps. Ooh, that's very large. Let's make that big. And what was the other one? Oh yeah, I wonder if that's under accessories as well. Weather. So these are 3 applications from the GNOME stable, and my wife and daughter tell me that they really like these 3 apps. So I had a bit of a review. They don't add any significant size to the image, and well, I use clocks and maps a bit myself. Clocks I use all the time. So I've decided to include these because when you look at what's included on like modern tablet and phone devices, these 3 applications are something that you see all the time. So it seems reasonable you might want, you know, similar functionality on your desktop. And I have to say, the integration of this maps tool with the OpenStreetMap data is excellent, and you can actually do meaningful route planning and what have you with this. It's pretty great. So they are new additions to the default install, and there is something I will need to do to complete that, which is to figure out what needs to happen on a minimal install to ensure that they don't leave cruft behind. So morning Takov, hello Sleepy Eyes Vince, welcome. How you doing? Right then, so those are the 3 new things. Let's go and have a look over here at the code editor. And what we have here is a script that I wrote last week sometime. And if we just, this is the things that I need to do to send stuff up to the Yaru project. But what this script does is it checks out the Yaru project, the upstream Yaru project, and the Ubuntu MATE artwork project. So that's just a helper function to do that. And then it creates what I call dirty repositories by rsyncing those clean versions. And then in those dirty repositories, it then does a bunch of manipulations to build and tweak the Yaru build, the build process, does the full Yaru build with some tweaks and modifications. And then
thank you for the follow, Happy Inadequate Coder.
Happy Inadequate Coder, I like that name. Welcome to the stream, thank you for stopping by. A brilliant username. I like that. So it does a build of Yaru and then deposits those artifacts that the Yaru MATE themes use in the Ubuntu MATE artwork package, and overlays that on top of the Ubuntu MATE artwork, and then prepares that package ready for building. And what I've been doing is building this and uploading it to a QA PPA so that it can be tested and make sure that it all works. So this is how we've generated that initial sync. But in writing this script and looking at what's working and what's not, this script incorporates fixes for these things. And what we're going to do is start putting these, well, that one I need to speak to the Yaru team and ask politely if they can make me some new graphics. But these things up from here, we should be able to send fixes up to Yaru that address some of these differences, and therefore my little build script won't need to account for those changes anymore. Fancy tea, you say, Paul. What do you mean by fancy tea? Right then. So let's get into this. We'll start with what I've done here is I've already forked the Yaru Git project, and here it is. And I've created a branch called MATE 22061. Which is a new branching naming convention that I've been using, where I do things, I give it a name and then a suffix, which is year, day and year, in order to, you know, you can have multiple branches working on different things, and I've just started using that. So I've already created a branch here, and we'll start going through what we need to look at. So let's go to development, Ubuntu MATE, and Yaru. Just Yaru? No. Where did I check that out to? It's all very well and good having clever naming conventions, but if you can't remember where you put anything, it doesn't really help you much, does it? I thought I put it in development. Oh, that's entirely in the wrong place. Okay, well, let's go and unbreak that. That's weird. How did I manage to do that? So let's whoops. Oh, no, we won't mess about with that. We'll just let's head over here. And how on earth did I do that? So somehow I've managed to, there it is. Let's do that then. So here we go. Here's that branch I was just referring to. And let's just go and open this up in the right place. So open a repository and open development, Ubuntu MATE, Yaru. And also it's worth pointing out, if you can see here, there's a bunch of activity happening with other flavors and desktops in the Yaru upstream project now, which is fantastic to see. So I'll leave that there, and now we'll look at our first change we need to make, which is this one here about the GTK4 color palette being incorrect, and that is fixed by doing these things here. So we're going to go to the GTK4 directory. Oops, we don't want to slash on that.
Thank you for the follow, Phosphreak.
Hello, Phosphreak. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for stopping by. So, let's have a look here. We need to remove the default CSS, and we need to remove the palette, and then we need to, well, do this. In fact, it's exactly the same process, which is link them to the correct assets. So we'll do that, and we'll have a look at git status. Hello. Why doesn't it think anything changed? Has somebody already updated those for me? I think they may have done. So I've just made a change that the upstream have already... This is... I'm getting flashbacks to Monday where I went in to go and demonstrate a bunch of bugs that weren't there because they'd already been fixed. So thank you to the Yaru team. They've already actually corrected those symlinks. So I didn't need to do that bit, and as you can see, Git knows that there is no change to be made there. It's interesting they all say that now. Okay. Well, that's good. So moving on then. So we've taken care of that one, or somebody else has taken care of that one, and we no longer need to do these steps in the build process because those are redundant. So next is generating these symlinks because the Yaru team created a new file manager app icon for MATE, for the MATE variant. So let's just go back here and go to icons and source. If we do EOM, I think it will be, where's it going to be? It's going to be EOM full color, the MATE, and then maybe apps and file manager. So this is the icon that they created. Oops, I'm on the wrong virtual screen again. So let's just make that a bit bigger and zoom in. So this is the icon for the file manager that they've made for me. But in addition to creating the icon, you also need to generate the symlinks for the various resolutions of the icon.
Hello Aus Frankfurt. Wimpy's thumbs up.
Hello Monica, of course you're in the same time zone this week. Hello you, how are you doing? How are you getting on? How's your first sprint? Say hello to everyone for me, won't you? So we will generate the symlinks that are missing by running this command, and do that. There we go. And then if we do git status, why? They've done this already as well. I don't believe it. They're doing really good stuff, aren't they? They're already ahead of me, so they've already addressed that one. So that one I can comment out, and this one I'm certain that this one I can actually fix because I think I'm the only person that has this graphic. But let's just find out. Let's just go and look in full color. What's it? I think. Hello, Tackle. Yeah, the Yaru team are ahead of you. They're an amazing team to work with. So in the MATE version, if we just tree here, these are all of the ones that are specific to MATE. Yes, and it is indeed absent. So the start here icon, I need to copy. So let's copy this in from, gosh, development, my old branch, icons, source. Oh, Paul. A bit of Chelsea cucumber, no less. And you, Monica. I hope you've been enjoying your trip over here. I know you've met with a bunch of people, not least Yannick and Marius. Right then, so let's take that full color places, and we should have a I wonder if that branch is in the wrong place. So let's think about this. Let's copy. I've never built it on this machine, have I? Okay, I might just need to quickly run up a file browser here. Let's just make this a bit bigger. Let's go and have a look in development. There, and then icons, source, full color, places. Oh, okay. Oh, it's never existed in the Yaru project, has it? That's why. So I need to copy this image in from not my old fork of Yaru, but in fact from the Ubuntu MATE artwork package, because this was something that was originally added to the artwork package directly. So icons, Yaru MATE Lite, and gosh, I wonder which one is the best to go for. I think it should be an SVG and the same everywhere. Here it is. So we're going to copy that image and we're going to drop that into the fork that we're working on at the moment. So into Ubuntu MATE, Yaru, icons, source, full color, MATE, places, and paste that in there. There we go. So now now that should be added that icon into the right place, and we may need to do this symlink dance again. So let's go to the icon source symlinks, and how do I do this? I think it's in full color, and I think we need to code places. Here we go. So we'll now do we should have this, so we will now do start here to start here.png, like so, and then we'll rerun the generate script to automatically create pings. So I think if we run this like so and start here, start here is invalid in 16 by 16. Oh, I wonder why that is. Why is that? Okay, I see there's a lot of chat. One moment. Oh, indeed, Yannick. Yannick points out it's been a long time since we've been in the pub together. Yeah. Chelsea cucumber mocktail. Yes, of course, Paul. I've forgotten about that. Yeah. I am a little bit confused as to what this is about. Symlink is invalid in 1616 places. So let's go look at what happened there. So into MATE, Yaru, and icons, source, full color. So we've definitely got this here. And where was it? Where does it actually build them? Oh, was it here? No, that's the right thing for the scalable symbolic stuff. That the Yaru team did. I'm a little bit confused as to why that doesn't want to work. Okay, I'm gonna circle back to that because I'm a bit befuddled as to why that didn't just work. I need to look into that one a bit more. So what we will do though is we will copy over these assets here. So these are the, up here you can see the maximize, minimize, close icons in the window controls. That's what these are here. And the versions in the Yaru project have the incorrect contrast. So we're going to go and fix that. And did I close that file explorer? Yes, I did. So let's open another one. So what we'll do is go and pick up from the current artwork package. User share. Let's think about this. This is in themes. Yaru MATE. Let's do the light theme first. And Metacity. And then we're going to pick up all of these SVGs. Because these are correctly hinted. That's all of them for the light theme. So we will copy those. And we will then go and drop them in here, and Metacity, source Mate, which is the light variant, and we will paste them here. And we'll say apply this to everything, replace. So there we go, that's that one done. And then we'll now go and do the same for the dark variation. So Ubuntu MATE artwork. User share themes dark Metacity, pick up that bunch and then this collection here, copy those and drop them in Metacity, Mate dark, and drop those in here. Replace. There we go. So that is that change done. So I think I better mark these as that's whip. This is done. Icon symlinks is done. They've already, your routine beat me to it. And then I've got some, oh, and that's a symbolic thing, so I need to check with the Yaru team on this. That one I had a difficulty with, and then we need these ones. Actually, there's not so much to do because they've beaten me to it on a number of these already. So let's just take a look down here. So they'd already fixed that. They'd already fixed this. And okay, so really this is not a very large set of fixes at the moment, but let's prepare what we have here. So the first is we're going to ignore this because I need to figure out what's going on there, but all of this stuff we'll take and we will say stage Let's just make sure we've got all of these. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so those are the two we don't want to stage at the moment. And we will say opacity, correct contrast. for MATE window controls. Okay, so that is definitely something we can fix. A bit disappointed there were so few things there. So actually, so I was asked, Paddy has just asked, did I have any pancakes yesterday? Yes, I did. My daughter remembered as we were eating yesterday that it was pancake day, so she went off and made us lemon and syrup pancakes. Thanks for stopping by, Monica. I'm sure you've probably gone by now. Right then. So that's done. I'm very confused as to why this doesn't work. I will have to give that some thought. So I think what I'm going to do then is something has been down for days, and that is a website called Salsa. It's this website here. And I think Salsa was down for about 3 days, and this is where all Debian development happens, or where the vast majority of Debian development happens. So I'm currently in debt to the Debian project, because those things for Mate Tweak and Marco. Anything else? Yeah, there is something else. Those two things I need to push the current versions, because there's actually genuine bug fixes for Debian in there. So I think what I'm going to do is actually go and be a good open source citizen and go and send my fixes.
Dark_Umbra.
Hello Dark Umbre, welcome to the stream. Thank you for stopping by. So let's go and get that good stuff sent up to the Debian project. So we're going to go to the development Debian packages Marco. So if we look at a diff on the Debian change log, okay. So I sent this to Debian and it will be unreleased. I'm pretty certain. And I think what we'll do is, as this one down here is unreleased, we will why am I doing that? Right then, let's do this. We will turn this back to where it needs to be as an unreleased package. And then we'll take this and we'll say, look at the status. So there's the patch. So we should say git add the patch and the series. And then we have an agreement in the Mate packaging team how we do this kind of thing. So we have a standard sort of syntax, if you like, for making commits. So we will just copy that into there. And that's the only thing I need to do there, because the change log will get automatically updated because of the way that I formatted that commit. So I don't need to actually send the change log through. So that's the first thing I need to do. And then the other is Mate Tweak. And we need to take a look. Let's just actually turn this into a larger terminal. Let's look at the changelog diff. And this is similar because it was down for such a long time. We will let's just look at the git log. Update copyright. So I have prepared the appropriate commits. I just wasn't able to push them because Salsa was down. So there we go. That's done. Now I do have. If we just look here, this is fine because these are carrying just the little tweaks I made in order to get them uploaded. So I can inform Mike I've done that, and then Mike was asking me to test something else, which I wasn't able to because all this stuff was down. So let's go over here. Here we go, lib Ayatana indicator. We have discovered, I have discovered, there is a requirement in the Dropbox binary for a package that is no longer available in Debian, which is lib app indicator, lib Ayatana indicator is the replacement. So my friend Mike, I don't see the changes that he was explaining were going to be in here. Update a new release. Okay, I don't think Mike has been able to push these changes because Salsa was down. So actually I was going to test his changes, but he obviously hasn't been able to push them up because I don't see them. So I'll need to have a chat with him. And in fact, I've spoke to Mike. For those of you that were here last week sometime, I said, you know, I'm thinking about getting some friends and collaborators from other, you know, open source and desktop projects, and maybe, you know, once a week or something doing a little, you know, co-stream with other open source developers. And Mike has said he's completely down to come and join me on that. So we'll have a little session where we do some how the collaboration between Debian and Ubuntu works with regards to like MATE, Ayatana indicators and some of that associated technology. What's this we've got here? So Takov says if Minic 3 will release with Popies. Oh the Mycroft you mean. Would you think about follow a TTS to that? I would have to code that as a custom thing because that TTS is actually using a web call at the moment to a pre-canned voice. So I could. I'll think about that. It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. I showed my wife and daughter the updated voice on YouTube on the Mycroft YouTube channel. They found that quite amusing. How it's remarkably accurate, I think. As somebody that's spent a lot of time in Alan's company, I think it's pretty legit, that new voice model that they're using. I wonder if anyone there actually knows the origins of that, because I think they've had quite the sort of staff turnover since that voice work was originally done. So actually that has pushed up the changes I need to push to so Takov says there'll be a Docker image for it. Yeah, okay, well I'm totally down for looking into that. It's all possible now. Those voices or the voice that's used for those alerts comes from Stream Elements, because it was the only way to integrate that sort of thing prior to Atom being around. But now I've got Atom at my disposal, I can do anything I want. So there is in fact a feature missing from Atom that would prevent that working. So there's a feature on the roadmap with Atom where they can send back like some of the objects, like the person following any text that they add. So I'd need to wait for that feature to land in Atom to do that properly. But yeah, it's all doable. Right then. Okay, I'm just trying to think now. What else? I might have to just up here. I'll just bring up my notes and just have a little look at my backlog of tasks. And see if there's anything else I can quickly get into. So send the Yaru fixes up. Well, I can't do that because of that error that I encountered, which is a bit blooming frustrating. So, oh yeah, I could get into that. I do need to update the Ubiquity artwork. Okay, I don't think I want to get into that today. I'm not geared up for that here. I don't have the requisite stuff installed. So, not that one today. Let's just go back and look very quickly at this. Why did this not work? Start here. Oh, is it meant to be PNG and not SVG? Is that what I did wrong? Even though it starts, so let's just do, where do we need to be to run the symlink thing? In icon source symlinks. Okay, well let's give this a go. Development, Ubuntu MATE, Yaru, CD there, and do that. No. Is invalid. Generating error. Start here. Ping. Start here. Let's just look at some of the others of those. Let's just look at all of them. So it is PNG to PNG. So Why doesn't it like that? Let's go and have a look at, let's think now, where do we want to have a look? We want to look in development. So is Mimic 3 the voice engine? Because I'm not up to speed with how Mycroft has evolved in recent times. So, Yaru icons. Let's look here. Why doesn't it want to go in there? What's wrong with that? Why not? Why don't you want to put things in this folder? It's there. Yeah, I'd be interested to know, because I assume that this is the name of the engine that runs the voice models now, but I don't know anything about Mycroft since it evolved from the original version. So That's an empty file, so it's not that. Generate symlinks. Let's just open this with Visual Studio Code. So this is the thing that should ingest the SVGs and spit out variant mate. Yeah, okay. Theme Yaru variant. Okay. And then it is there no Inkscape call in here? Am I doing this wrong? Does it need to be? There's no. Okay, so this. Okay, so I think I'm doing this wrong because this script, I think, actually wants the pre-generated PNGs to exist in the right spot, and they do not. So let's have a little look at this. What have I overlooked here? Am I supposed to put them in here? Places. Well, that's definitely the new stuff. It's not supposed to go in there. So let's look in full color. Yeah, you're right, Paul. I'm definitely thinking. Ah, here we go. Here's the render bitmap stuff. Right. So this is the thing that takes the SVGs. The reason I'm a bit dense on this is because it's been a year since I've last worked on the Yaru stuff, so I've sort of forgotten the process. Okay, so here we go. So this is where I should put my icon. So my icon is in the wrong spot. So we need to go here and places, and there should be a bunch of SVGs. Okay. Ah, and there's start here. It's the right thing. Oh, did I put that there? Is brain, come on, right. Git status. Yes, so I actually put that icon there, so that's good. Now I'm beginning to understand. Right then. So we'll come back to here and we will look at this render bitmaps thing. So can I do this for an individual icon? Or does it want to iterate over the whole? Let's do... Ah, here we go. So it looks like I can do that. And that didn't do the Mate folder. So let's do this variant. There we go. So start here, -- variant Mate. Okay, there we go. Rendering start here. So if we now do git status, still what? Why is there not a bunch of files elsewhere now? Why? Surely that should have created a bunch of stuff in somewhere here. 16 by 16 places. No, it did not. Why not? Okay. Okay, looks like that script might not be working correctly. So let's take a look at that. So render bitmap. Oh, you know what? I think I know what could this be, because I do have Inkscape installed. Okay. Is there anything else I need installed maybe to make this run? OptiPNG. Okay, I wonder if that didn't create them because that was a missing tool. So there's the optimization of the resulting pings, and there's Inkscape. We definitely have Inkscape installed, do we? Yep, that started Inkscape. So okay, so Inkscape's definitely running. Anything else I need here? Maybe just the OptiPing was missing. Gosh, what a lot of stuff. I'm just ignoring, I'm just parsing this very quickly. Here we go. So variant goes to default. Optional SVG names without extension, if not render all icons. Well, we don't want to do that. Okay, so let's try this again then. Where were we? Source. Full color. There we go. Render bitmap variant mate start here. Rendering SVG. That's lies, isn't it? It hasn't actually done anything. So I'm gonna have to have a think about what's going on there. Why is that not doing anything? Come on. Args variant. Yeah, okay. Source for source. OS path join. Looks like it should be working. I wonder what happens if I do this. Ah, there we go. It fell over in a big fat heap, didn't it? No such file or directory. Okay, well, we could probably fix that while we're here as well, couldn't we? Rendering all SVGs. Well, let's see what this makes of this then. Okay. I think it might fall over with other missing directories, but I might not care about that too much because... oh no, I will care about that because, okay, so we now need to... Mate devices. So these directories are required for the entire thing to run. So we'll create these directories and let this go all the way through. So legacy. So we'll just keep MIME types. Whoop, C, Control C. MIME types and go again. And now it's doing places, which should include the start here thing. So Paddy NI says It's a shame app indicators tray icons are still a pain in the bum. Proton VPN, which is GTA app, and KDE Connect both don't show up on the tray in Mate. So that's because Mate has moved to Ayatana indicators, which is what everything is moving to, but a lot of third-party software hasn't done that yet. So if you apt install lib app indicator 1, you might find that they start working. Right then, we're still in places. Okay, haven't seen it do start here yet. That should, why is it doing them in such a weird order? Wait. Okay, let's just let this whirl and see if we get the start here thing rebuilt. And then if it builds the pings, we can then do the other thing, generate the sim links. Folder Dropbox. Okay, these are all of the different folder bits and pieces there, with emblems and stuff tagged on the end. So that issue, Paddy, that you're talking about was what I was hoping to test. Does that work? Is that what that means? So I see this message from Paddy. So I'm going to guess that installing libapp indicator 1 has fixed your problems. Is that right? Status. Okay. Let's go and do that. KDE Connect worked instantly. Brilliant. Okay. So that was what I was hoping to test. I was talking about lib Ayatana indicator, and I was hoping there was going to be some fixes from Mike. There's some magic he's been working on in the Debian packaging to automatically create sim links for lib app indicator 1 to the new Ayatana in the Ayatana version, so that stuff just works by default. So that was, excuse me, I do apologise. That was what we were looking at, trying to get sorted. Latest whip. Okay. I don't know what whip is, I'm sure, but let's do that. Okay, so that says it's built everything, but you know what I don't see in this list? Mate. It ignored start here, which is a bit rubbish. So do I need some... Man, that's frustrating. Oh, yeah, that's the only... I'm very confused. So why then did this script not do the start here icon? It's clearly in that directory. Proton VPN, I think you mean. Not Proton the... Is that what we're talking about? Proton VPN. That's an excellent name collision, isn't it? Seems to require that I pull down almost the entire GNOME desktop. Okay, what the package that they provide. GNOME shell. Oh my gosh, yes, those will, yeah, the GIR runtime will pull in an awful lot of stuff for sure. I can't help with that, unfortunately. That's probably slightly shonky third-party packaging, but you know, that happens. So, why did... Let's have a look at this README, see if this sheds any light on... Because what I'm curious about is why that didn't automatically rebuild. This script will render...
Thank you for the follow, Seeker07.
Hey Seeker, thank you very much for the follow and welcome to the stream. My terminal is very pretty. Yes, I run a lot of pretty alternatives to common tools. So yeah, I'm a big fan of what could broadly be described as modern Unix. Okay, render a bitmap. So I was doing it right, but it just didn't work. It renders the version in the default templates. Okay. So I wonder, the source SVG files for all icons are in subfolders each. Oh, okay. Maybe I'm doing this wrong because it's not supposed to be done this way. Okay, let's take a look here, and let's just have a look at the apps directory. No, let's look at places. So this was all of the different folders. This produced a whole bunch of different output, didn't it? Saru template. Oh, I see. I understand. I'm doing this wrong. If we open up folders in Inkscape, I know what I'm doing wrong, and I shouldn't even be trying to do what I'm doing. Here we go. So this is all of the icons for the folders in that SVG file, and what that render bitmaps thing is doing is goes looking in here for markers to automatically turn these different scaled versions of the folders into the PNGs. And of course I have an SVG which is just the SVG of the logo for Ubuntu MATE. So this shouldn't even, I shouldn't even be trying to put that icon into the project in this way. So I may need to re-render that, or just drop the SVG into the appropriate places, or continue to do it the way I've been doing it, which is it resides in the... I'm going to have to speak to the Yaru team to figure out how they want me to go about this. So Yannick asks a question. Yannick asks, what extension config gives you the icons in the ls command? Well, I'd be giving away secrets if I was to explain that. Let's go to a blank terminal. Here we go. No, it's not a blank terminal. That's a virtual machine. Let's try that again. Oh, I closed it, didn't I? Silly boy. Okay, let's just close down a couple of bits so I can get control of my machine. So, let's use this VS Code. So we'll just clear this, and so I understand the issue here. The way that I'm trying to add the start here stuff is the wrong way to do it. So I'm going to remove that from there. And then I'll get to Yannick's question. And places. So let's just open that whole thing up. And we'll drop that because we don't want to do that at all. Okay. Okay, I understand this. I need to speak to the Yaru team and figure out the right way to go about it. So let's... oh yeah, we were going to do it in here, weren't we? So let's do a couple of things. The first is git diff. No, we can't do that here. Let's try and do this in a project that currently has a diff. So let's go to Debian package Marco. If I do a git diff here, you'll see I actually get a side-by-side diff. And that is done using a command called delta. And what I've done is in my fish configuration, in my git config, I have, hang on a minute. I'm in the wrong. Let's try that again. In my git config, I have a bunch of stuff set up, including delta to do side-by-side and interactive diffing and colored diffing, among other things. So that's one tool from like modern Unix that I'm using to fancy up what I'm doing. And then what other people noticed is when I do, let's go somewhere more interesting, like the Yaru project, and do an ls-l here, you can see that there are, not only is the layout colorized here, but you can see there are glyphs for the files. So you can see this is a markdown file, this is a text file, this is some, as far as this tool is concerned, unknown. There's folders and there's a shell script. What am I using to do this? I do believe it is LSD. LSD is the tool that I'm using, and what I've done here is edited my fish configuration, and I've said if LSD is available, then alias LSD to ls, and otherwise just to use ls with the color argument. So that's how I'm doing that. And then similarly, I alias LSD to tree in tree mode. So if we come out of there and we do a tree in this directory here, you can also see that it works just like regular tree, but it's got all of the glyph and colorization in place. And if we then take another example here and do cat and bootstrap.sh, you'll see that this is colorized, and that is using bat, which is a cat replacement. And again, what I have here is a function, an alias in the fish shell, to say if bat is available, then use bat for cat, otherwise fall back to cat. And similarly, oh, that should be slightly different. I think I've got a bug there, but for less as well. And then as a replacement for grep, I'm using I think it stands for rip grep. Oops. So you can do RG, but I've replaced it with grep, and I can do -r. I don't know. Let's do this. We don't need to do that, maybe. There we go. And so there we get colorized line grep type functionality. And I also have FD installed, I think. There we go. Which is an alternative to find, which has colorized outputs. So there's a whole slew of these that I use to basically complement the fish shell and the power line prompt, so that I get a very colorful command line experience. So there you go. let's give you the final hint. Let's head over to a browser, and if we just go here, and if we say GitHub modern Unix, I'll put this in the chat now. That is some of the tools that I am using. Not all of them, but some of them. Exa is another LS type replacement. The reason I use LSD is because it's about 98% backwards compatible. Here's Delta. So you can go and find all of these projects and then look and see how you configure them, but there's a whole bunch in here. And I'm using most of them. Yeah, there you go. So there's a big old list of cool stuff to fancy up your terminal. Have fun with that. It's totally worth doing. This is quite good as well. I think I have that one installed. Should we have a look? I think so. I can't remember which ones I've got installed. No, I don't have it installed. I have some of the terminal prompt things installed, the profiling tools, but I don't recall which ones. Obviously, I'm not using them. Right then, so there you go. I hope you have some fun with that little lot there. So Esme asks, has all the wonderful Unix upgrades come as a side effect of cloud native being an industry? Feels like cloud native guys get all the pretty calls. Well, they're available for anyone. But yes, I think this is, a byproduct of people wanting, the same kind of quality in the terminal on their Mac OS machines as the rest of the OS provides. So I think that's sort of kind of where it comes from. So, but we all get to benefit. I was thinking about doing a couple of videos on, those things, maybe rebooting Command Line Love from a once popular podcast as, standalone short form videos, just introducing some nifty tools for the command line. Right then. So what I've worked out there is the way I was trying to add that start here icon was absolutely the wrong way to do it. So now I understand that. I will stop trying to do that. So let me go back to my original list and look and see what I need to do. And actually, I probably am going to need to... So I understand, speak to your routing on that, because I need to find out the right way to progress. Those have all been fixed. And then the same applies for these. I need to speak to the Yaru team and actually find out what is the correct way that I should do this. Yeah, I need to speak to them, get some guidance. So, not a huge amount of change there, but I will push and make a PR for this. So, let's push that branch up. And that's going to my fork, and then we will start a pull request from my branch to Ubuntu Yaru into, I assume it's called master. There it is. There it is. I think that's all we need to do. So we'll just create that pull request. There we go. We'll go and view that. There it is. And there is the PR of all of those changes. So we will... I say there's all of those changes. None of you saw that browser window open because it opened on the wrong screen. But there you go. Hey, Lost Man in Twitch, welcome to the stream. Thanks for stopping by. So that's good. At least I've pushed 2 bug fixes, well, 3 bug fixes up to Debian. We've pushed up that correction to the Metacity window controls to Yaru. And I realise that I need to get more learnings from the Yaru team on how to progress with some of those accented colour variation icons in MATE, so that I can send those up to the core project rather than maintaining them as sort of leaf additions in the Ubuntu MATE artwork. So what am I going to be working on next? Well, I know that I've got a bunch of rather tedious settings changes to make in Ubuntu MATE. So we have the usual tranche of hiding pointless icons that appear out of nowhere, things like image magic, peppering the menus with icons for things you never launch from desktop entries. So some of those have cropped up recently and we need to hide those away. And then I've got some settings changes to improve how the dock is populated, because that's looking pretty sparse at the moment, so we need to go and do some work there to make sure that when you use the Mutiny layout, for example, or the Cupertino layout, that the dock actually has some useful applications presented in it. I don't know that there's much else I need to do in the settings. In fact, I did have my notes up earlier, didn't I? Wonder if this can tell me anything. What have we got here? So, I'll tell you what, I may as well bring this down. Let's click a couple of buttons to make this do the right thing. There we go. Let's see if we can do this. Make it small. There we go. Right then. So this is standard notes. This is what I use to sort of keep track of stuff. And, oh, the themes thing's up. And this is my to-do list for the current Ubuntu MATE. So here we go. Here's the settings things that I was going to look at. So we used to have branded start pages in Firefox, but since migrating to the Snap, those no longer work. And ideally, I was just talking about the dock layouts. I like to include Firefox there. We need to hide this flipping thing again. And yeah, update the other items that are in the plank dock. So that's a bunch of sort of titivation. These things are both fixed because the Yaru team fixed them for me yesterday. But they've got under construction icons because they're not released yet, but they are fixed upstream. So this I'm still in the progress of doing, so we'll put that icon in there. And then I need to fix these things. So I need to fix the old Ubiquity panel style and then do some artwork updates in the installer. And ideally, I would like to drop the MATE themes from the default install, so we just have the Yaru MATE themes as the pre-installed themes that are available. So I see there's some questions. Let me just move to this view. So Paul says, I have a suggestion. A way to enable the full screen brisk layout is a nice GUI on all desktop layouts. So I could do that via MATE tweak, for example. So if we just go back here, it's a good idea that, Paul. If we were to, oops, let's just start MATE tweak on my local machine. I could add that as an option in here, couldn't I? And so what Paul's referring to is brisk menu can either be displayed if we go to the virtual machine. This is brisk menu here, and this is it in its menu form, so we can start typing and it will find the clocks thing for us, but that's it in its menu form. And if we use Mate tweak on this VM and change the panel layout to Mutiny, the behavior of brisk menu changes and it's now a overlay menu. So it's still brisk menu, but it has 2 modes of operation. So I think what Paul is suggesting is we have a way to configure that behavior. So it's a good idea. I could totally do that. It's surprisingly simple to implement that. So I'll go and here, somewhere in here, I have something that says Mate tweak. So there we go. That's in the notes. So then let's have a look here. So Esme says, standard notes is making me seriously reconsider my Evernote subscription. Yeah, I like standard notes. I run, so it has a plugin architecture. So I'm using a Yaru theme, which is a third-party add-on from the community. And the editor that I'm using is... gosh, I can't remember what the editor name is, but I'm using an alternate editor as well. But I can't remember what it's called. So yeah, I use a slightly different editor because I like to have it be markdown but also slightly styled. And then I have a couple of other plugins. There's a spreadsheet add-on which is useful for simple tracking stuff, and there's a simple Kanban plugin as well. But then all of this is synchronized on the back end, so it's available on your phone and your tablet, which I quite like. I think Obsidian, I know somebody mentioned Obsidian. Let's see, here we go, it was Paul. So Paul says Obsidian has engaged my nerdy side, and so I've been reading about Zettelkasten and note-taking methodology, which is what I'm using. So in fact you can see it here. So I have, the name here is Ubuntu MATE to do, but these tags aren't just searchable, but they also it's how they appear in this hierarchy of stuff here. So if I go and look in to do that was a bad example. If I go and look in projects, oh hang on a minute, why is the hierarchy gone away? I don't have this configured the same here as I do at home, that's why. Anyway, these are like subdirectories. So it means that when I search for something here to do with, if I search for nvenc, in the top level, there we go. It will find all of my notes in all of the places, and this OBS automation stuff, and then also is it retro home? Yeah, it's just a convenient way. So here you can see, this appears in two places as well. But yeah, I find it a very nice tool. Right then, let's get that out of the way. So we've not got much left to do for Ubuntu MATE to be in sort of good shape for this upcoming release. It's the usual last minute artwork changes, and that's just for the installer. And I think that what I'm going to do this time round is, instead of theming them around the code name, I'm going to go for some generic artwork so that I don't have to keep updating that artwork every cycle, because it's a blooming chore keep doing it. The only thing I want to do each cycle is just the mascot refreshes. And in fact, there is some exciting news on the installer front, because let's find the browser. Here it is here. If we head over to the Ubuntu MATE GitHub, we have a project in here called Ubuntu MATE Installer. And there is currently one pull request, which is coming from the Ubuntu desktop team. And this is what will be the prototype of the Flutter installer. And we, the Ubuntu MATE team, will be the first of the flavors to pilot using the new Flutter-based installer. So here's some here's some of the work that's been done so far, and here's my good friend Yannick, who is here in GitHub and here in the chat, who's keen to help with that. So this is not going to be the default installer in 2204. There isn't enough time to do the testing and validation, and there are some gaps in what it does. But we will soon have an alternative daily install media using this new installer, so that we can test it. And hopefully starting with, let me get the numbers right, 2210, so the release in October this year. This will hopefully be the installer that we use. And I believe Yannick is working on another Flutter something in Ubuntu MATE. So, you know, we're doing quite a lot of Flutter stuff here. All we need to do is re-implement the entire desktop in Flutter and everyone will be happy. Oh, nice, Charafu. So Charafu says that they've sent a few pull requests to the installer, and I assume you mean the upstream version for Ubuntu. Well, go you. Thank you very much. So yeah, that's something that's coming, but not quite ready yet. But we're very thankful to the desktop team reaching out to us to collaborate on that. I'm looking forward to seeing how that shapes up. But so that may feature, you know, some weeks from now. But I think the next things to do is to tidy up all of the artwork and get everything lined up, because like a lot of the hard work is done. Now we've got the new Yaru theme in, and there's a bunch of bug fixes in there as well for that, and we've done all of the bug fixing on MATE desktop and Ayatana indicators and a bunch of other stuff that the QA team have pointed out. We're considering where we are, I think we're just about on schedule, maybe a little bit ahead of schedule to for the release in terms of where the quality of the distribution needs to be. So it might soon be time for me to upgrade my machine, so I actually start using these as my daily machines. And Yannick says that you know, he may or may not be working on something. He's definitely working on something. We're always working on something. And if you're curious what we're working on, then the place to find out more is our Discord channel. So that's where all of the little community projects that we work on, you know, on this stream here, all the debate and discussion happens in Discord somewhere, not just for Ubuntu MATE, but for the other spin-off projects as well. Speaking of Flutter, have you seen this? And then that got redacted, so I don't know what this is, unfortunately. Hello, was that? Oh my. Hello, Milo, is that? I can't quite see the text from here, but welcome to the stream. Dahlia OS, yes, I'm familiar with that. I have looked at it. Yes. I'm half jesting when I say, you know, looking at making a Flutter desktop. I know that's what Dahlia is setting out to do. I'm tempted. But also, I know how much of a heavy lift that is, so, you know, but part of my brain is like, I'd really like to learn more Flutter, do more with Flutter, do more with Dart. And, well, you could just write an application and write a good application. Or you could write a whole desktop environment. That would surely be the best way to properly learn that stuff, is to just go for it big style. But yes, I agree, Charafu. Dahlia is a long way from done. But maybe with a few more people involved, you know, maybe it would be achievable. But I am aware that it's not just. There's so much in a modern desktop environment. There's an awful lot of work that would need to be done. You know, things like session managers, settings daemons, peripheral management these days is vast. You know, there's a whole category of you know, software that would need to be written for that, and a lot of it non-trivial. You know, biometric authentication alone, and that's before we get into, you know, USB 4 and Thunderbolt, and, you know, what was it we were talking about earlier, mouse gestures, trackpad gestures. It's a big hill to climb. It's a big hill to climb. Well, not confirmed, but I do have. I mean, the other thing that I've been tempted to play with, I think I mentioned this on stream a couple of streams ago, is building a desktop. Yeah, building a desktop shell around Wayfire. That calls to me as well, because my desktop requirements are fairly modest. You know, Mate does more than enough for me. I know a lot of people prefer the richness that you get from the likes of KDE and GNOME. I don't need quite that, you know, level of or expansiveness of features. So I kind of like the idea of, you know, a Wayfire, you know, all of the effects sitting on top of Wayland. And then do some integration work to do the one I've just discussed, you know, the settings and, you know, management of the machine. Well, compositors are 10 a penny now. There's plenty of choices there, so I don't think that's a big concern. But I like the idea of Wayfire. You know, I did some years ago when I was messing around with Compis to do the Mate integration. I did create a complete, in air quotes, desktop environment that was just Compis. So that was kind of nice. And I liked that very trim. It's kind of, I suppose it's somewhere between what people like about tiling window managers. You know, a panel and a compositor with all the special effects. That kind of is all I need. I don't suppose that's all many people would be interested in, though. But, you know, I do think about, you know, doing something with Flutter or going for something completely different. But as it happens, there is something else that I am planning with a friend of mine regarding desktop stuff, and you'll probably find out about that in May. So I'm keeping my cards close to my chest on that one, but I would totally be discussing what that means, and also what it means for overlaps with Ubuntu MATE, because Ubuntu MATE is going to be sort of the starting point for another project that I'm going to be working on, which could be of more significance than Ubuntu MATE if we get it right. So I'll share more about that in a couple of months' time. Right then, Docker OBS. Well, that I have these ideas and then not enough time to implement them all. But Docker OBS, it was one of the ideas I've had. I've looked at it. I know it's possible. And a lot of the times in my mind, just knowing that I've figured out how to do something is oftentimes satisfactory enough for me to then go, oh, well, now I know how to do it. I don't actually need to do it at all. So yeah, I know what's required to do that, but I'm not sure I have the time. I need to think about these things because I obviously want to keep Ubuntu MATE ticking over and improving. And, you know, you'll notice I spend some time working on a particular project, you know, maybe a week or 2 weeks, and then I'll flip to one of the other projects that I'm interested in and do some work there. So at the moment, it's very much an Ubuntu MATE focus, obviously with the release coming up. There's obviously been a lot of work going on over the last 4 months for this, but it's all been, you know, background activity with other teams. And it's only now we sort of try to make sure everything that we've done has been pulled together and works as a collective. But I really want to get back to retro home. So I'm trying to get Ubuntu MATE in a really good place so I can get back to retro home, because that's where I want to put in a bunch of effort. And then we've had somebody in the community for QuickEmu start to work on the GPU pass-through stuff. And that's obviously something that I've said I'm very interested in working on as well. So, you know, there's no end of interesting things to work on, but not enough time to work on all of them, unfortunately. So I see there's a bunch of stuff. Yeah, so the thing about Docker is, or containers in general, is I am trying to move to a model where more of my stuff is isolated so I can't break it easily. So that's what I'm trying to move towards, to give me the confidence that, for example, if I was to upgrade this machine from 2110 to 2204 daily, I want to be confident that important stuff that I depend on doesn't break when I make that transition. Like, for example, OBS, which is what I use to stream, and streaming is my most fun hobby that I you know, is a little bit of self-indulgence. So, you know, I want to make sure that stuff continues to work. And as Yannick points out, here we go. We are very close to 1,000 followers. It will make me very happy when we get there. We can get there a bit quicker, that would make me even happier. So if you're watching along and you're comfortable not being just a lurker, a follow would be fabulous. Thank you, Yannick. Well, that will be the next goal, obviously, Charafu. I will start with the clean 1000, but 1024 will be the true achievement, the true 1k followers. Yeah. Right then, what's this? Do you think that... What? Hang on, I'm not even sure I understand what I'm looking at there. Let's bring this up. Do you think that the cross might result in proper hardware acceleration? I don't know what the cross is. This is the first time I've heard of it. You will have to fill me in on the details there. A shameless plug. I don't do them too much, I don't think. Yeah, but yeah, that's a milestone, definitely, that I will be pleased to achieve. Right then, well, my tea has gone cold. Well, that's sad. So I think it's almost time to put a brew. So Esme is telling us what LaCrosse is. So LaCrosse is an architecture project to decouple the Chrome browser from the window manager and the system. Okay. Well, that sounds excellent. I mean, Chrome OS has sort of pioneered that resilient update, you know, atomic updates and what have you, for a Linux-based operating system. I believe it was the inspiration behind, gosh, what was it called? Rocket? Did that then become Core OS, and how that handles updates? I think that they took the Chrome OS model and used that for, you know, cloud stuff. Yeah, and here we go. So Aethiel says there's a rumour they want to bring Steam support to Chrome OS, and again using container-based technologies. I mean, the Linux application support in Chrome OS is delivered via LXD. That's actually a Canonical-led project, and I know for a fact that Steam can run inside LXD because myself and also the LXD lead developer, both independently of one another, proved it to be so some years ago. In fact, I wonder if I can find it. Let's have a look. let's have a quick look. I think it was in a gist of mine. Oh, that's the wrong button. My gists up. Okay. This could be, I think it's in here. Oh, okay. I'm not seeing it. I thought I'd put it in here. Well, I wonder what I did with that then. I thought I'd put that in here. I wonder if it's private. No. Gosh, so many. Well, that's a bit of a shame. I wonder if it's in... Let's have a look. Well, I thought it was going to be here somewhere, but apparently not. Oh well, I'm not going to continue looking, but I did have it in here somewhere or other. Yeah. Anyway, my point is, with LXD being available in Chrome OS, and I know that Steam can run inside LXD, it should be entirely possible to deliver Steam on Chrome OS. Right then, let's go and have a quick look over here at what we have. How do I do this? I'm just seeing if anyone is doing anything interesting in English, because I'm getting excellently good at finding people who are streaming in some other language, and it looks like we might not be in luck today. Okay, well look, what we'll do then is I'm going to say thank you very much everyone for stopping by. Thank you for those that followed and got us closer to 1,000 followers. Yeah, Togglebit's on. Yeah, I've raided him a few times. So you can head over there after if you want to go to Togglebit. He's doing his usual thing over there at the moment. I'm trying to find some new people to highlight, but none of them are streaming at the moment, unfortunately. So I'll leave it there for now. But I will be back. Well, in fact, tomorrow we will be streaming on the Slim DevOps channel. Big Pod and I are going to be doing some examples with Docker Slim. So we were talking about Docker earlier. We're going to be looking at slimming containers using different language ecosystems and frameworks. So give Slim DevOps a follow, twitch.tv/SlimDevOps. We'll be doing that tomorrow. we may even be, what's the word? Trying something brand new that I've never done before with streaming. I'm not sure if I'm ready to go with it yet because I'm not confident it's all working, but if it is, there'll be something brand new happening over there. And I will be back here. Well, tonight I'm going to be back here because I need to do some Trackmania practice. So I'm going to be playing some Trackmania later. And on Friday, I'll be back to see where we are with Ubuntu MATE and what needs tweak it. So we're into this last few bits of artwork tweaks and settings tweaks in order to sort of put a cherry on top of where we are, so that hopefully my goal is to get to the end of this week and bar any bugs that we find, Ubuntu MATE is ready to go. That's where I'm trying to get to. So okay, Microsoft developer guys, so you're saying there's a channel here. Let me go and have a look. See if I can find them, because if there's somebody that we've not been to before, I'm absolutely down for that. So Microsoft developer, is that the channel? Here we go. Yes, they're live. Okay, let's go and give them a raid. That's nice. That's a nice thing to do. Go on, let's go and do that. Right then. There we go. Thank you very much for that recommendation. Somebody new. Let's go and see what they're up to. So, thank you. Who suggested that? Charafu, might have been a joke. But, oh no, Aethiel. Aethiel. There you go. We're doing it. We're totally doing it. That's where we're going. So, thanks very much, everyone. Oh, wait. What am I waiting for? Why am I waiting? I haven't got long to wait. We're going. Here we go. Thanks, everyone. Hopefully I'll see you later, and if not, I'll see you Friday. Bye for now.